What's up, guys? So it's another week and I need to make a video, but if you can't hear, it's raining really hard here today, so I'm not going to be doing anything outside. So I thought I'd be productive. I think that the majority of my viewers are probably people who know their way around the car a little bit, but I'm fairly sure that I've at least got some people watching these videos who are new to cars or new to the car scene. So I thought this time I would take a moment and show the new guys how to approach the car scene without embarrassing themselves. This is gonna be 5 easy ways not to be a racer. And the first one is avoid installing parts, and this is going to be a two-part thing, either improperly or installing parts that are no good or in some way degrade the car. We all like to be able to modify the cars on a regular basis, and I'm guilty of this myself unintentionally because currently one of my car's suspension is pretty off thanks to some parts that I thought were going to be good but were not. Some of the things are, don't fall into these trends, these over-the-top modifications that make cars useless. For example, lowering the car to the ground, slamming the car as far as it can go will not only make it almost impossible for you to drive on the street or in and out of parking lots or over speed bumps, which are kind of unavoidable, or at least around here, but also your suspension geometry is more than likely going to be completely out of whack, which is going to make everything do the opposite of what it's supposed to do, which means you're more likely to have problems like bump steer and stuff like that. So when you take these kinds of cars, maybe when you look at the modifications, you think they look cool because you don't know, but trust me, car people are going to know that you've just screwed your car up. Number 2. Don't talk about things you don't understand.
300?
Yeah.
And it's VTEC, you said?
Yeah, I got a big cam in it.
Okay.
It don't look like much. And it's dual exhaust? No. Right? Now, I've never seen this model. I've seen plenty of these models, right? But I've never seen them with dual exhaust.
GT way?
93 3000 GT base converted to front wheel drive twin turbo with a full tank of gas, full interior, and myself, 3245.
2,500 pounds. That's heavy.
If that.
Yeah.
25
They're lighter?
heavy. 2,500 pounds heavy. Yes, maybe.
Yeah.
I'd say like 22.
And then there was an Audi R8
It is perfectly okay to show up to a car meet or a racetrack and not know much about cars. Everyone's done that at some point. Everyone starts somewhere. But if you go up to a group of people and start talking about your car or their car or what's going on in the event that day or whatever, don't start churning out words that you heard on the internet or you read in a magazine that you don't understand. You're not sounding cool, you're not sounding like you know what you're doing, you sound ridiculous, and people who do know what they're doing are going to know the difference and they're going to laugh at you. Also, if you can just honestly come at someone and say, man, I kind of like that car, but I don't know much about it, then with that attitude, most of the car guys I know would be glad to talk to you about it. You will learn things that way. But if you come up spouting off a bunch of stupid crap that doesn't make any sense about turbos and things that you saw in Fast and the Furious, then more than likely those people are just going to turn off. They're going to laugh at you and they're not going to tell you anything. You're never going to learn and you're just going to look stupid. For the next thing, don't try to portray your car as something it's not. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about clones. True clones are still kind of neat, but for a car to be a true clone, for example, you see Cobra R clones in the Mustang community. But if it's a Cobra R clone, it has to be piece for piece a Cobra R, just not having been built as a Cobra R originally. But if you take an R badge that you found at Walmart or something and you stick it on the back of a Mustang GT and you think, oh cool, now people will think I have a Cobra R I look really cool now. You don't look cool at all. People know that it's not that. People who know cars know fakes. So don't roll around pretending to have something that you don't. If you can't afford the nicest thing in the world, you're still a whole lot better off presenting your car as what it is than trying to pass it off as a fake something more expensive or whatever. Number 4, when you go to car meets to meet people and network and to get to know cars and to see people's rides and stuff, don't break the rules. Specifically, especially these nighttime meets and stuff in parking lots, but even at event sites and stuff too, they have rules on purpose. A lot of venues, a lot of places that have the spots that they need to do these meets are apprehensive about having a bunch of tuners there in the first place, or car people of any kind. When you go in there and hold your Honda Civic at red line for 20 minutes, or make it backfire on purpose, or do big long burnouts on your way out, no one is impressed by that. As a matter of fact, you've probably just pissed a lot of people off, because that kind of stuff is what gets these groups in trouble and makes them lose their sights in the first place. So if you don't want somewhere to go check out cars and hang out with car people, then you're on the right track, because that's exactly what's gonna happen if you keep doing that. So you're not cool, don't do it. And on that same note, sort of, the last thing is, if you have an essentially bone stock car and you cut the mufflers off of it so you can be super loud, that's not impressive. No one thinks it's cool for your car to be making this huge ruckus and then not going anywhere. Now, it's a different thing if you have a heavily modified car which needs very high flow exhaust, and maybe it's not super quiet, and there might not be much you can do about that, but at least then it's deserving of it. But don't make the car obnoxious just for the sake of obnoxious. I couldn't tell you how many times a day I see something, specifically I see a lot of Crown Victorias and for some reason Civics. I know those aren't in the same genre, but I see them wide open going past the shop I work at like 10 miles an hour. It's not impressive. If you're really fast and quiet, that's impressive. If you're really fast and loud, that's impressive. If you have a slow stock car and you're just making crap loads of noise, this is not impressive. This just makes you look stupid. Tip, keep in mind. And I'll even throw in a bonus on the same level. Loads of stickers, giant wings. I think all of this falls into the same category. Putting a lot of look at me parts on a car that don't do anything else, car people are not gonna find impressive. You might think it's impressive, but it's not impressive to most people. And when you come into a group of car people at a car show or a meet or a racetrack day or something, they're not gonna think you're cool. They're gonna wonder what's wrong with you. Plus, keep in mind, this is another way to keep from being a ricer. You see all these ricers get owned videos on YouTube. A lot of that is thanks to this kinds of stuff. Because if you're rolling down the road in a car that everyone knows obviously is slow, and you've got 15 different big look at me, gigantic over the top race car looking parts on it, that is going to draw attention, but not the attention you think it is. It's going to draw attention from people who want to embarrass you, who want to race you. Now, if you have a really fast car, great, because you'll probably win. If you don't, you're just inviting ridicule. And I try not to ridicule people for being into different things. Everyone's into whatever they're into, and that's fine. But seriously, it comes off as boastful and arrogant in a car that doesn't necessarily deserve that sort of an attitude about it, and people resent it and they don't like it, so I would suggest not doing it. But anyway, follow these rules and odds are you'll fit in with car guys pretty well and not be labeled a ricer or a noob or whatever other kind of derogatory term you want to insert here. I think that's enough information for everyone. Did I miss something? Is there another way racers get into trouble that I haven't mentioned? Let me know down in the comments. I'll check it out. And other than that, I am gonna let this one go. I appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Drop me a like on this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.